Let's bring in Fox News contributor Jonathan Turley. He's a law professor, a constitutional expert, and you have been writing quite extensively about all of this. I just want to play for you something from Maggie Haberman, the New York Times reporter who knows the Trump team well. She says they're actually concerned. Watch.
They believe, generally speaking, he and his advisors, that they will have success at the Supreme Court, but he has also voiced some concern that a court that has, he appointed 3 of the justices to the Supreme Court and it gave the conservatives a supermajority. He is concerned that they are going to look as if they're trying not to rule in his favor and might rule against him.
Just to catch people up, if they've been off on the holiday, do you expect the Supreme Court to act and act fairly quickly? And do you think the Trump campaign is right to have this concern?
Well, the greatest concern, I think, for the Trump campaign is that you have the ultimate incrementalist and institutionalist in Chief Justice John Roberts. You have to remember, this comes a little over 20 years since Bush v. Gore. Only one of the justices from that decision remains on the court. That is, of course, Justice Thomas. A number of the justices, however, participated in that challenge for one of the parties. And so the memory of that is still lingering. It was deeply divisive for the court. That was really sort of embodied when Ruth Bader Ginsburg ended her opinion, which normally ends with "I respectfully dissent," and removed the word "respectfully." And it really sort of captured how divisive this was, not just for the country, but the court. I think that some justices, like Roberts, would like that cup to move from their lips. But I don't think there is an alternative here, particularly with Maine coming in. Now, there are some mootness arguments that can be made. It was a very clever way that Colorado structured this decision. If they run out the clock at the Supreme Court, Trump's name will just remain by default on the ballot, and Colorado can then avoid review. But I'm hoping that they won't do that. I'm hoping they'll put an end to this pernicious theory that is deeply destructive to our democratic process.
And Jonathan, good morning. You have Democrats speaking out in opposition of the ballot bans. You have some prominent Democrats, including Angus King, obviously independent from Maine. The decision should rest with the people as expressed in free and fair elections. Jared Golden, congressman from Maine, until he's found guilty of a crime of insurrection, he should be allowed on the ballot. Gavin Newsom from California saying everything else is a political distraction, that we defeat candidates at the polls, and the California Secretary of State, I must be better than Trump. So they're getting, very vocal, and yet there are some inside the party that say this is the way to take down the former president.
Brett, I think that's really one of the most important things that we can start this new year with, because this is going to be a toxic year politically. We all know that. But we need to remember that despite our differences, we have more in common than we do in conflict. And these Democrats show that. They have greater fealty to the Constitution than to their own party. And I think we need to recognize that Colorado and Maine are the outliers. This has been rejected in state after state. These challengers went and took every three-point shot in every state looking for people like Bellows. And Bellows said right after 9/11 that this was an insurrection organized effectively by the president. So they had her at hello, and they knew that. But we need to keep in mind that so many Democrats said, we're not going to do this. And so I think that what we're looking for the Supreme Court is not just finality, but hopefully unanimity, that they can show that despite their own divisions, that they remain united by our democratic values. This theory is wrong. It's wrong historically. It's wrong textually. It's just dead wrong. And I'm hoping that the court will put this to bed.
Well, we are only on the second day of the year, but this is an issue that's certainly picking up steam and not going to end anytime soon. Jonathan, thank you so much. We'll keep in touch.
Thank you, Dana.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.